Um,
We're live.
Thank you. We're going to call this meeting to order. Notice of study session, MSD update. City Hall, fifth floor, 6801 Delmar Boulevard, University City, Missouri, 63130, Monday, May 13th, 2024. Are there any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda? All right, then I'll turn it over to Mr. Rose.
Mayor Pro Tem Smothers and council members. Tonight, we have the Chief Executive Officer for the Metropolitan Sewer District with us, Brian Holschler. If you recall, the Metropolitan Sewer District recently had a successful ballot measure that went to the voters. And so tonight, we've invited Brian out to give us just a sense of what that now means for University City and to respond to any questions that you might have. Mr. Holcher?
There we go. Light and everything. Brian Holster, I'm the Executive Director and CEO at MSD. Again, as Mr. Rose indicated, want to give you kind of a summation of where we're at after the passage of Prop S. There's some communications, more communications went out this morning to the staff about some of the extra steps we need to take at the request of some of the municipalities in our service area. So first of all, I'll just kind of give you the summation and I'll leave it to you to ask questions if you want me to go any deeper. So with the passage of Prop S, with regard to the impact to your citizens, they should see essentially no change in their annual cost for stormwater. There will be an OMCI tax that will, the current one that'll be charged in 2024. After that, that tax is set to zero and the new impervious tax, the new stormwater property tax goes in place. The old OMCI tax is real estate as well as personal property. The new Prop S is real estate only. So from almost all the ratepayers or almost all of our customers, almost all of your citizens, they'll see no change in their annual cost for stormwater when we convert to the new system. For your non-residential customers, they are in calendar year 24, tax year 24, they will still pay the property tax. Starting in 2025, that property tax, the OMCI tax, will be set to zero, and they will start paying an impervious charge. On a monthly charge starting in January, they'll be paying their share of stormwater through how much impervious area they have, parking lots, roofs. The rate in general is about $45 per month for every full acre of paved property they have, rooftops, parking lots, those types of things. For some of your non-residential customers, this will mean a larger amount of money they're paying per year. Obviously, depends. If you have a high valued property with very little impervious area, you're going to pay less. If you have a property with low value and high impervious area, you're going to pay a little bit more. In the end, it all comes out being the same amount of money from the non-residential customers as we have under the current program. So those be those impacts. Let's see. So directly to University City, there will be a change in the amount of grants that are available on an annual basis for stormwater projects. Under the current program for this tax year, you'll have available $246,000 that you can propose on to be used for stormwater. Those come out of two different taxing districts. So whatever you collect can only be spent in those taxing districts, but they'll be available in 2024. Staff somewhere near fall will send a reminder, not only as to what the amount is you're collecting in 2024, but what your current balance is from previous years. So we're going to true up for all 60 municipalities that are in an OMCI. When the new program goes in place in calendar 25 or our fiscal year 26, the amount of grants for University City will go up to $300,000 per year. So it's going to go up about $50,000 per year. The difference will be that that money can be spent anywhere within University City and can even be shared with adjacent municipalities if you have stormwater issues that cross municipal boundaries. So that's where the rate proposal sat. And just kind of summating, right now, the way the program is, it costs the customers about the same amount of money. The amount of grant available annually to University City goes up a little bit. And now we have a district-wide program, which there won't be projects concentrated just in the taxing districts, but it'll be prioritized throughout the district. But there's a lot more money, and I won't go into the details. If you really want to know how the expenditures go, there's a lot of optional ways of moving money around. And I'll go after that if you want me to. The other thing that we're going to talk about is some of the municipalities have bounced off the idea and asked us to consider to leave part of the OMCI taxes in place solely for additional municipal grants. There are about 9 municipalities in our district. When we change over from the OMCI to the Prop S taxing, we'll get less dollars per year. The reason for that is the old system was really based on the property values within your sub-district. And the higher those costs were, the more money you got. Right now, the Prop S is distributed by population. And that's why there's a change for about 9 of them. So we sent information, kind of what has come across from most of the municipalities who are looking to consider this is the idea of setting a new property tax on the OMCI's 1/4 of what it is now. So right now it's about 6.4 cents per $100 valuation. The proposal in University City and as well Deer Creek as well would be for putting in and maintaining a 1.6 cents per $100 valuation. That would for University City, that would generate, well, half. So if that went in place, that would generate another $123,000 a year. The cost to your customers is about $20 to $25 per year for every $700,000 appraised value of the homes. That's what the cost to the individual customers would be. And then obviously that would also be, that tax would be charged to your non-residential customers as well. There's some information that went out to all of the municipalities. The way this process works, we were trying to find if any what municipalities wants to at least talk about this. We set a threshold of wanting municipalities representing 50% of the population in a district, taxing district before we, go deeper. University cities in both the Deer Creek and University City branch of River Des Peres, both of those have decided to have extra meetings. Information went out today. There'll be meetings next week. What the goal or the level that MSD staff has said is if we can get municipalities who are willing to write letters of support that represent 70% of the population within an OMCI, we would take that proposal in each of the 7 OMCIs, we would take that proposal to our board of trustees to consider whether or not to leave that 1/4%, that 1.6 cents, whether to set it there instead of setting it 0 for tax year 2025. That's the process we're going through right now, is collecting input from the municipalities as to how they think we ought to proceed. There are some that have simply told us, no, we're not going to do it. There's others. I mentioned Deer Creek's the one that has all the municipalities that are getting something less. They're really considerate, and every other OMCI is somewhere in between. So we're in that process now. I think exactly where we're at. The information's been sent to staff. There are meetings over the next week, 3 different meetings. And it's simply, we will sit and then wait and see what letters of support we get from those municipalities. And as soon as we hit a threshold, we'll let everybody know we're going to be bringing it to our board of trustees for them to consider. They'll have a letter of support. They'll hear other supporting comment. They'll hear possibly comment against it, and they'll decide whether or not to leave any part of that OMCI tax in place. Hopefully that wasn't very confusing, but that's all I had. There may be other items though, with regard to this.
Ms. Hales.
Thank you. That was when you start talking about OMCI and all of these different letters, Prop S, it can be a little hard to follow. So the question I have relative to that is the 9 smaller municipalities population wise, they want to continue OMCI in addition to the Prop S.
Right.
Not opt out of.
Right. So
Okay.
Prop S is in place no matter what. They're asking to leave part of the OMCI. MSD has no desire to leave them on for any monies for our purposes. But they want to leave a small portion in place to supplement the municipal grants that will come out of Prop S to add a little money to the pot.
Okay, and then with the incoming Prop S funds when they begin, $300,000 a year, that goes into a bucket that MSD earmarks for U City. What happens if, can we roll that over year to year? If we have a larger project, how's that work?
So if you have a $1.5 million project, you can, U City's been pretty good about this. You can let us know. We're going to have you save it for 5 years so we can use it. You can split it up into different packages if you want. You can, and again, this is mostly for the smaller municipalities. Some of them are combining their resources to do one bigger project because there are smaller boundaries and the stormwater problem crosses their municipal boundaries.
Thank you. And then I have one last question. When we're talking about real estate tax and the impact to residents, I think I know the answer to this, but for all of the properties that Washington University owns in University City, residential properties particularly, that they're not paying tax on, they're exempt from paying.
No,
as well?
so it's going, I'm going to ask that answer in general, but we're still talking with the county collector's office. So for instance, Washington University, the properties they have would be counted as non-residential properties, and oftentimes multi-unit type things are non-residential. They will be paying an impervious rate, that $45 per impervious acre per month. Most of those will be paying that. Washington University itself will be paying $45 per month per acre of paved area on their property.
And so is that, I don't know what the language was in Prop S off the top of my head, but is that a service fee or is that considered a tax? And does WashU know where you're coming from? Are they expecting to be paying that? Because
Yes,
they do.
I guarantee you Washington University, I'm from there and I guarantee you they know it's coming.
Okay, it's good to know.
Anyone else with any questions? Okay, Mr. McMahon.
Thanks for coming and give us the update.
Sure.
The OMCI that's being phased out as of now, any funds that we have, is there a deadline when we got to spend it to you?
No.
Or could that get carried over to the next?
Yes.
And mixed with those new.
What
new money?
staff, I won't be here anymore, but I told staff what they will do is come the fall, they're going to contact every municipality that's currently in OMCI, let you know what you still have unencumbered or haven't used over the past couple of years, what you're going to get this year, and reach out and say, okay, what do you want done with these? Those monies will stay in place unless we get which a few municipalities will do. They'll give us an affirmative response that no, we really don't plan on doing anything with those. We'll then turn them into projects or something. But you'll be given a full balance as to where you are at for planning purposes. Again, the OMCIs have restrictions, the Prop S doesn't. And we'll give you a full accounting before the end of the year.
Okay. Jeff, yes. No, I don't see anybody. Anybody else with any other questions? You go ahead. Jeff, yes.
Thank you then. I do have a couple of other questions. The last time we saw you was at the U Heights program at the library, the U City High School Library, where you indicated, I think there was a mile or mile and a half left of tunnel clean out. Does that sound roughly?
Yeah.
And is there any progress on that? We were, I think, 1,100 tons at that point.
So I think what I can do is I've intentionally brought the gentleman who's going to replace me July 1, Brett Berthold. He's currently our director of operations. He'll become the executive director on July 1. So if you don't mind, I turn the podium over to him and let him respond to where we're at with the tunnel, if you don't mind.
Sure, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. My name's Brett Berthold. When Brian retires June 30th, I'm going to become the new executive director at MSD. Councilman, is it Hales? To answer your question first, there's really been no change in the amount of debris removed. And that's because there hasn't really been any work going on. With all the rain going on, we can't do our inspection and cleaning. So what I have in front of you is just a quick map here showing the various sections. And if it's okay, I'll just run through and give you a quick status for each one of the sections. So, excuse me. So you see it's broken down into 5 sections. Section A, which is on the upstream end, has been fully cleaned and inspected. Section F, which is the next one, has been fully cleaned and inspected. They're currently working in Section E to clean it. It's about 80%. There's been no inspection taking place yet in Section E. D1 and D2 are the twin tubes at the bottom of the system there. D1 has been 40% cleaned and no inspection has taken place. And D2 has been fully cleaned and no inspection has taken place. Our goal is still to complete this by the end of the summer, early fall. It's really all at this point weather related. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Well, Stacy, if you have a question.
Go ahead, finish out.
Okay. So a couple of other questions. I had asked both of the city manager and at the library meeting for the numbers on the combined sanitary discharges into River de Pere and New City, as well as the sanitary. I think the sanitary alone, I think there's not very many, if I remember.
No.
But I really still would like to get that information. I've checked my email and haven't
Okay.
gotten anything from
Can you make a note of
MSD.
that, Bess, and we'll be sure to follow up with you.
And can that go to the city manager directly, please?
Sure.
Thank you. And then the other question I have, which I never actually really asked, is as it relates to River de Pere, how many are there just strictly stormwater discharges from streets or parking lots in addition to the combined, or?
I don't know if there's any strictly stormwater. We could look at that. It all ends up being combined at that point and going down the tubes there.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll make a note of that and we'll follow up. There may be a few just individual stormwater sewers that are in the area.
Okay, that would be of interest as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Clay. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Smotherson. Thank you, Mr. Berthold, is it?
Uh-huh.
All right. And congratulations on
Oh, thank you.
your appointment. So I had a question about the tunnels and the ongoing maintenance. As I'm sure you're aware, the tunnel clean out resulted not from what I understand to be any sort of schedule, but a lot of conversation within the community. MSD responded. So what is the maintenance cycle for those tunnels?
So for the tunnels, there's not a maintenance cycle, but what we are going to do is use the report we get from our contractor that's doing the inspection and cleaning work and review it and establish an inspection, cleaning maintenance cycle. But we really want to get through the whole system before we sit down and do that.
Okay, but you will be moving towards, I understand you need to get out what's in there now, but you will be moving towards some sort of cycle that that will be transparent to the public.
Absolutely. We'll share that with you.
Okay,
We just need to get through things first.
understood. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If that be all, Mr. Rose, anything else? Okay, thank you for
Okay,
the
thank you.
presentation. I do
Nice to meet
appreciate it.
everyone.
Thank you. And I think that will close, I guess, the study session. And we will adjourn and then start the council meeting at 6:30, correct? And that's it. We're adjourned. Thank you.